Hey guys, it's Roxy with Roxie's Broadway Breakdown. Welcome back to my channel. It's a whole new year. It's time to break down all new things, so let's get started. Today I thought I'd talk about colleges and universities and musical theater programs, and I am just going to name like a handful when there's literally thousands across the countries that offer musical theater programs and vocal programs and dance programs and acting programs. So there's so many to choose from. It was hard to narrow down just a handful. And these are really just sort of top tier schools to just show you what is out there and what can be offered to you. First of all, is it necessary to get a degree in musical theater if you want to pursue careers on Broadway or in TV and film? No, it's not a prerequisite. There's a lot of people working in the industry that don't have a degree in either musical theater or drama or what have you. There's people that didn't even go to college that are working. So that is up to you. That is up to you if you know, up to your situation, individual situation, what you want to pursue. My feeling on college and a higher education is I do think it's worth it to go to college no matter what you pursue, just because I think higher learning just opens you up to more ideas and knowledge and diversity, and that makes you a more well-rounded person. And if you are going to be a performer, the more well-rounded person you are, the more well-rounded a performer you're going to be. But that's for anything, you know. You're just, the more knowledge and experience you have in anything, the better you're going to be at anything. So that being said, all right, so I think if you are going to go this route, though, you need to ask yourself, what do you want in this career? Do you want to be more theater oriented? Do you want to pursue that lane? And if you do, then maybe you should start thinking about the coast of, you know, the Eastern Coast. You know, Broadway obviously is the mecca of theater, so maybe you want to think more Eastern Coast, New York. If you want to pursue TV and film, obviously Hollywood, California, that coast, you want to kind of set yourself up in that area. That's not to say there's not so much crossover between the two. I have friends in the industry that obviously do both back and forth, so you know, it all depends. And that's not to say you can't go to, you know, somewhere like Arizona and then you start your career after college. So all depends on you. I think you also, when looking at schools, you need to look at their programs and is it a conservatory? Is it just a typical liberal arts college? Also, their performing opportunities, because some schools kind of prioritize juniors and seniors and start letting them perform more and more, while when you're a freshman and sophomore, they don't let you perform right off the bat. You kind of have to work your way up to it. Not all of them. Some let you start performing right off the bat. You also have to see, do they let you perform off campus and let you start auditioning, you know, while you're in school. So all those things are things to consider when looking into a school. So just to kind of, like I say, name a few schools right off the bat. One of the schools that has the best reputations for a huge musical theater program is University of Michigan. It's really well known. There's a lot of Broadway actors that have graduated from the University of Michigan. It's a conservatory and liberal arts program mixed. You can get like a Bachelor of Theater Arts, you can get a Bachelor of Fine Arts. And it's what they really, I mean, there's a lot of performing opportunities along the way in it. What they really tout is that they have a huge networking system in their school. Now, all of these schools that I'm going to name, they're obviously their faculty and teaching staff is top notch, but and they have people within the industry that will come and teach, but their networking system here is such that by the time you're a senior and you're doing your like performance theater showcases. They're inviting people in the industry, casting agents, directors, choreographers, to come and watch, and basically they're making it a very easy bridge for you to be placed with these casting agents and meet and greet these people that will make it a smooth transition for you to come from college to a professional career, so that you will have the easiest of time to kind of jumpstart your career and get right on into it. And that's not to say that happens for everybody, but that's sort of what University of Michigan makes it seem like. If you come to us, we're going to give you the best chance at success, like right off the bat. But here's what I mean about that: a degree doesn't always make you, make or break you. Joellen Pellman, who did the role of Emma in the movie The Prom on Netflix, she's a graduate of the University of Michigan. Now, that's a plum role, okay? And so she had to audition for, with thousands of other girls for that role, and she got it. And so here she did. She got her degree from the University of Michigan, worked hard for 4 years and trained, and she had done a couple of things, like I think on HBO, and but she just had a little seed of a career getting started, and she was sort of just plucked out of thousands, for this role. And then you have Rachel Zegler, who, if you haven't seen it yet, West Side Story, Steven Spielberg's new reimagined West Side Story. She lands the role of Maria, and sort of the same thing, auditions with thousands of girls, and sort of gets plucked out of obscurity for this role. Now, Miss Zegler, who is 20, has no degree. She didn't go to college. She just graduated high school. Talented as anything. I mean, I have nothing but good to say about this girl. She's a beautiful girl, gorgeous voice, sings like a lark. I couldn't be more perfectly cast for Maria, so I have nothing negative to say about the girl. But there's two instances where you have one, Miss Pellman, who, I'm sure worked her what off to get that degree at University of Michigan, and was just getting her career started, and had that, on her resume, that degree, and got the Prom. And then Miss Zegler, who kind of just, maybe for lack of a better word, still, I'm sure has trained in her own right, but didn't get a degree, and just sort of got plucked out of obscurity and landed this plum role of Maria with Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. One with degree, one without a degree. So that's what I'm saying. You never know in this business what it's going to take, where you are, circumstances, luck, studying. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. And it'll be interesting to see where these two women go in their future careers, what two paths they take. So, interesting. All right, but that's this business, it's just interesting. All right, so then we have NYU. Now, NYU is really, they have two schools, like the Steinhardt School, which is more for vocal performance. And then you kind of have to get a subset. You choose your subset of like music or classical voice or contemporary music. And then you have the Tisch School of Arts, which is, they divide you into 8 studios to learn. So, and they all have to do with theater. So the first 2 years, a committee decides, after your audition process, they decide based on your strengths and sort of your weaknesses of where they think you need to grow, where to place you in which studio. So like there's the Stellar Adler Studio, the Lee Strasberg Institute, the new studio on Broadway, which is dedicated to musical theater, the Production Design Studio, the Playwright Studio, for 2 years, you're going to be put in the studio they feel you need to be, and then they rearrange after that. It's interesting because my friend who graduated from Tisch School of the Arts, he said that's not how it used to be. Like, he graduated from Circle in the Square, which isn't even a studio there anymore. They have rearranged all the studios since then. But that was his acting. Like, he got a degree in acting there. And he said they just totally got to pick which studio they wanted to go to. So I guess it's just all changed now. They decide where to put you. And he said they really frowned upon them auditioning outside the school while he was there. But he said he did it anyway. He said he would just call in sick to class that day, and then he'd go on outside auditions for commercials and whatnot, and he got them. So, and he's had a huge career on Broadway and TV and film. So sometimes it pays to. I'm not saying you do that. I'm not advocating that. So I'm just saying what he did. All right, then we have, moving on to Carnegie Mellon. Now, Carnegie Mellon is probably the oldest established theater program in the country. And they're in Pittsburgh. And they have a conservatory program. And it's more like, it's acting and drama mixed together. So they do a lot of classes with like acting, speech, movement. They have like opportunities to perform. I mean, you will do like main stage musical theater productions, but I don't know that you'd get like musical theater training per se, like in some of the other ones. They also, what their big thing is that they have a collaboration with ASCAP, which is the American Society of Composers and Publishers. And that's a big deal. And that's a big deal for them, because they collaborate with them and Stephen Schwartz, the huge composer and lyricist who did like Pippin and Godspell and Wicked. And he comes back once a year and leads students in a workshop to create their own new musical works. So if that really intrigues you and you want to be somewhere where you can kind of get in on the ground floor and learn how to, you know, create your own new musical and be with someone like that who can help, you know, hone those skills and be with somebody who's really bringing that out in you and your talent and learning new musical, how to produce a new musical and create a new musical, then Carnegie Mellon might be the program for you, you know. And I'm sure they're not the only school in the country that does that, but that is one of the things that they're most well known for. Then there is Oklahoma City University. Now, I chose this one because this one's Kristen Chenoweth's alma mater. We all know Kristen Chenoweth. I mean, you'd kind of have to be under a rock to not know Kristen Chenoweth, how famous she is for not just Broadway, but TV and film work. And so this is her alma mater, and she's what is considered an artist in resident prof there. And so she comes back like, I think once a year, once a semester, and does master classes and workshops there with the students. But they have a huge, actually, even without her, a huge well-known theater department. I mean, she went there and she got very famous. So they do have a very well-established, well-known musical theater department. And they have lots of performing opportunities for students while you're there. So they do a lot of main stage productions with classical musical theater shows, kind of like what we would all know regional theaters to do across the country. And then they have like a stage 2 repertory company, which is a little more eclectic shows, like eclectic takes on shows. And then they have what's called the out of the box company, which is student produced shows, which are like brand new shows. So kind of depending on what you want, if you want to do like classic musical theater stuff, if you want to do more eclectic things, if you want to do new student produced things, a mishmash of something for everybody there. Again, I'm sure they're not the only ones in the country that do all those kinds of things, but the University of Oklahoma does have a very well established musical theater department. And then AMDA, American Music and Dramatic Academy. Now they have two campuses, one in New York and one in LA, and they're very, they believe in coming up with an artist, a very well-rounded artist that can do theater, TV, film, everything when you get out. But their philosophy is a little bit looser than some of the other universities. They're kind of very artist-based, like you need to do what's right for you to come out of this. It's more loosely structured. It's not as structured as some of these other ones that are conservatories or just your typical liberal arts college. It's, I mean, you're going to get your, you know, bachelor's when you get out of there, but it's more like, as an artist, you do what you feel you need to do and collaborate to find your way in this industry and feel like how you do what you need to do to develop your way as an artist to come out of here kind of philosophy. So, like I say, a little bit loosely structured than some of the other ones, but they tout a huge alumni as well, you know, like Chris Jackson, the original Washington and Hamilton, and Gretchen Mol and Jesse Tyler Ferguson, and, you know, I mean, you know, a lot of these schools have huge alumni. So, and then the last one I want to mention is Pace University in New York City, and Pace is, I mean, a lot of these schools too will have business classes to offer you, teaching you the business industry part of it. And Pace seems to be one of the ones to do it, offer the most to me when I was doing some research on this. But Pace I like because don't feel that just because you're the talent, you can rely on your manager and agent to go, oh, yeah, y'all got that. No. Now I have a law degree, and I'm not saying be excessive and go above and beyond like I did and get a law degree too, but when you're at the table and your manager and your agent are discussing, you know, contracts and negotiations, don't feel like I'm the talent, you know, I don't, discuss amongst yourselves. No. You're going to want to be in there, especially the more famous and hopefully rich you're going to be. And you're going to want to be asking pertinent questions and saying, what's my liability? What's your liability? What's the bottom line? What's the money in this? And you're going to want to be able to understand that and ask important questions, you know, smart questions, and not rely on everybody else dealing with the situation, dealing with the money, knowing the answers. You're going to want to deal with that too. I'm not saying don't have your attorney, especially if you're not an attorney, you know, definitely have your attorney, definitely have your representation, your manager, your agent, your publicist, all your people, you know, with you. But what I'm saying is be in the loop. You know, don't just leave that to others to handle for you. Definitely be in the loop and be knowledgeable about what's going on. Because when you have somebody that is a talent and also knows the bottom line, the business, that's a really powerful combination. Because then you know two sides of the industry. You know, somebody that can tap dance and understand a contract, that's a pretty explosive combination right there. Nobody better mess with you then. So that's all I'm saying. All right, subscribe to my channel. I'm so glad it's a brand new year. I have so many things to talk about. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next.